how did you get A, banned by OpenAI, and B, how did you get out of it?
So they threatened to ban me, and you're able to like respond to them, and I.
What was their claim though? What did
Yeah,
they
so
say?
cyber abuse. They didn't explain what that was.
They're not explaining?
Not a word of explanation. It was
So
just.
how can you respond without knowing why?
And that was my point to them. Asked them, yeah, just let me know what I did.
I was kind of frightened to see what you built. Essentially, you're giving the robots the tools that they need to take over.
Well, I mean, I guess I did frame it as defeating the final boss of the internet, which was a laugh, but is also a little bit true, right? I mean, these CAPTCHAs, especially reCAPTCHA, right? The ones that Google's put out, they're specifically designed by the guys who, at least fairly recently, were the best at AI, specifically designed to validate the humanness of a browser. And so yeah, with that now being completely surpassable with an agent, yeah, I mean, I think there's a dimension of it that may be a little frightening. I tend to be in general a techno optimist. I really do feel that on the whole and by a long shot, technology has been massively improving to quality of life for people. There are always these sharp edges as disruptive technology like this is introduced, but I think it stabilizes and on the whole is better. So for me, and I really wanted that to come out. I don't think I did a good enough job of it, frankly, but I really did want the optimistic side of this thing to come out. Like, there's a really good thing that happens.
I don't think that anything optimistic was.
I don't think it came out.
I also think that if you want to be optimistic, you cannot start your conversation with the dark side of.
Well,
just saying,
dude,
just
I don't know, man. I mean, it worked for Star Wars. I do think that being able to kind of drop in your agent with the browser for you, I think it's going to get us out of doing a lot of mundane and time-consuming tasks to free us up to do more interesting stuff.
What is the more interesting stuff?
What is the more interesting stuff?
I just feel that everybody's doing it, right? Like, you can use AI to automate your mundane tasks, and then you can do the interesting stuff. But I feel that all I do all the time is work on AI that will solve the mundane stuff. And if I will finish, and then I don't have to do not the AI, not the mundane stuff, what will I do?
What then? Well, for me, it used to be the process of implementing the solution as code was itself particularly enjoyable. But now I get to operate at a level of abstraction above that, which allows me then to solve more problems than previously. There's so much stuff that I've built in the last 3 years that without the productive coding agents wrapped in this engineering discipline, I would never have gotten to. I would just never have gotten to. And so I think maybe in the now term, that's the answer for me, is operating at that higher level of abstraction and solving more problems than I otherwise would previously. I don't know, that's the fun bit. I think we were chatting off camera about how solving problems is kind of the why of all of this. That's what drew us all into it in the first place. So I think there's more of that, which is fun.
Hopefully. I don't know. I'm kind of the pessimistic.
Oh, is that so? Say
clearly.
More.
I think that I remember 4 years ago, I was like, yeah, AI will not take any of our jobs, right? The future is a person with AI, hand in hand, blah, 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 blah. I think that Claude Code was the
really
the shift. ChatGPT, I was like, cool, yeah, cool. And then Claude Code was like, oh, fudge.
Mind your language.
It will be beeped, don't worry.
No, well, you said fudge.
But that's why it will be bleeped, and then nobody knew. But no, I think that like, and a lot of the talks here were about like the new browsing and the new internet, so-called. Right, that you don't really need UIs anymore. You can strip it all up. You can just let your agent talk with each other. And then what? What, we'll just go and look at reels all day? Like,
No, I don't.
What will we do?
It's really hard, I think, to answer that question. Like, if you look at the way in which most people in the developed world spend their days today, you could never have guessed that or described that, and I think it would have been very difficult to even imagine that 100 years ago. So at the turn of the Industrial Revolution, like right before that, most people worked in farms, right? Like you farmed to live, and that was kind of what you did. And then enter the Industrial Revolution. Now sort of drew people into cities, and then all of the urban development that comes along with that. And fast forward, and then like the professional services economy kind of like starts consuming everything. Like spending the day doing this, right? like on a podcast. You could never have conceived of that 100 years ago. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not just creative enough to like think about what that future is. But I think it ends up being something like that, right? Where like in my mind, quality of life again is a step function improvement, and then we spend time doing things that are uniquely human and more uniquely human.
Okay, so let's quit with the philosopher speak. Let's talk about what you built.
Okay.
So give me the one-liner of how would you frame it?
Sure. What I built was two things. It's a methodology and a tool that allows your agent to use the browser the way that a human does.
Essentially beat every CAPTCHA.
Beating CAPTCHAs was like the way that I wanted to demonstrate just how effective this is. That wasn't the why of it all. And frankly, when I first built Chrome Agent, it was not to defeat CAPTCHAs. The reason that I built it is to close the feedback loop for the agent, especially when building web apps. So tests, unit tests, integration tests, they're not enough for the agent to be able to build software that truly works and to do it autonomously. It needs to be able to interact with the software that it's building in the exact same mode that you, as the user, will interact. And in order to do that, it needs to use the browser. And so I started using MCP browsing tools just like everyone else did, right? So I used the Playwright MCP browser, the Playwright MCP server for a very long time as that closed loop in the process, but it became very cumbersome and it became very slow. And I realized that the actual browser capability that is implemented in Playwright MCP is by constraint of the context window much less than the entire capabilities of the browser that is exposed via the Chrome DevTools protocol. And so in order to give the agent all of that, you got to step out of MCP, and then you need to interact with CDP via the command line.
So you essentially did tool use instead of MCP.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's which MCP I guess is like a form of tool use too, but this is like
it's the
pure tool use.
Standardization of tool use.
Sure.
But you said no, I want something more specific.
Yeah, well, I needed something that is programmable. I needed something that was fast, and frankly, I needed something that didn't cost as much in terms of tokens to use. And so in order to do that, I built Chrome Agent, which is a convenience wrapper with some very specific engineering decisions around the Chrome DevTools protocol. So one of the great things that I built into that is the ability for myself and the agent to share the exact same browser instance. So that's really useful for a number of things. I may be working on something in the browser and I want to hand it over to the agent. And that happens seamlessly if that browser instance has been launched via Chrome Agent. Or, for example, I definitely don't want to give, even in like a .env file, I don't want to give my agent the authentication tools for like my primary email account, for example. So I will log in to my email account and then hand the session over to the agent to let him send emails for me, for example. Similarly, I can watch him as he's working. So if he's, for example, test driving the UI for an application that we've built, excuse me, and I can see that he's doing it wrong or he's steering off path, I can correct him in real time. Or I can even just take the mouse and kind of take over for him and advance him through places that he may be getting stuck, so that the loop closes and he can work through things. I can highlight text in a browser session and just point the agent to it and say, hey, see this here, I want to do this. It's super useful for things like you see design on a website that you really like. You can just show it to the agent. You see functionality in another web application that you want to replicate. You show it to the agent. The third capability, these are all sort of iterations on this same capability, but then like agents themselves can also co-use the same browser sessions, which can become particularly useful also.
So how are you using this Chrome agent? Like, what are you doing with it?
Yeah, so all day, every day, every time that I'm a lot of, not all, but I would say probably maybe 60% of the software that I write has a web UI to it, and so 100% of the time I give it, like it's built into all of the skills that I have wrapping my kind of daily driver agents. Chrome agent is the way that it interacts with the web applications that we're building to make sure that everything works properly, right? So I close the loop with it that way. I actually, I've been a web automation hobbyist, I guess, for quite a while. Done a lot of scraping in my past professional and personal lives, and so Chrome agent's particularly useful for scraping too. So whereas previously, kind of like the naive approach to scraping is you open up the DevTools panel, which just uses CDP on the back end, by the way. Anyway. But you put it in inspect mode, and now I'm like clicking on elements on the page, and I'm copying out the CSS selector or the XPath, right? So that I can like capture the widgets that I'm going to need to interact with in order to scrape or automate. I even ended up building like browser extensions so I like cut all that out, so I can just click on stuff and like record it and have it capture all that. Well, now I don't have to do any of that. I can just hand the Chrome agent session to an agent and say, here's what I want to automate, or here's what I want to scrape. Let's go. And it's so much faster. So that's another big use. And then, frankly, for I wouldn't say mass communication, but let's say more scaled communication that is repeatable, whether it's reaching out to prospective customers, or whether it's that sort of thing. Email is another.
You no longer write your own emails?
No, I definitely do. I mean, one-off, onesie type stuff. But for one of my businesses, I needed to. There was a professional association that the business is a member of, and we'll be making changes there, looking at others. And there were 15 other professional associations that have the right memberships that this particular company needed. But like reaching out to all of those associations with this very tailored set of questions for every one of them would have been hours and hours of work. And the agent was able to do it in a minute and a half, I think, like from start to finish. So
and 0 hours of yours.
Exactly.
So
no babysitting at all. Yeah. So I mean, it has become a critical part of my everyday workflow.
Cool. I want to ask also, like, I will put a link to your talk there, and I don't want you to do the same talk all over, but if you can summarize, like, what are the main takeaways from the experience that you had building with it? Like, what are the lessons that you learned, and you can save time for others?
So I mean, the big aha is, it is possible, and more than possible. It is perfectly possible for your agent to use the browser exactly the same way that you do for whatever tasks it is that you care to automate and hand off. And that opens a world of possibility. And I've just kind of talked through some of the different use cases that exist for that on a day-to-day basis. But like that was like the big aha, and more than the specific use cases themselves is the engineering methodology of how it is that that's possible, with sort of the combination of the methodology and the right tools.
And then one last thing, how did you get A, banned by OpenAI, and B, how did you get out of it?
So they threatened to ban me, and there is you're able to like respond to them, and I.
What was their claim though? What did
Yeah,
they
so
say?
cyber abuse. They didn't explain what that was.
They're not explaining?
Not a word of explanation. It was
So
just.
how can you respond without knowing why?
And that was my point to them was, please kindly explain what it is that you're alleging has happened here, so that I understand. And they, within a couple of days, came back and said, we have in fact determined that you will not be banned for cyber abuse, which I was grateful for, because in all honesty, I wasn't doing anything malicious, So.
It's just funny that the best defense is just, can you tell me what you want?
Right. In this case, that turned out to be it. Yeah.
I was imagining you like wrote them stuff and like be very like, oh no, I have only good intentions, but you just asked them what
I asked them,
what the hell
please
they want.
just let me know what I did. And they relented, which was nice.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. It was so fun talking to you, and
Likewise.
so fun meeting you here.
Oh, dude, this has been so great. Yeah, BFF's here now, man.
Woo.
Right on.